Hello, I'm Kristina Behr, and welcome to NJ News Now. 3 Iranian nationals are charged with a massive hacking scheme here in New Jersey. Federal prosecutors say the 3 hackers gained access to security systems and got the data of victims in several countries. And some of the victims in our area included a domestic violence shelter, a township in Union County, and an accounting firm in Morris County.
The office has obtained an indictment charging 3 Iranian nationals for directing a massive global computer hacking scheme and ransomware scheme. As alleged in the indictment, the cyber criminals attacked hundreds of victims around the world, including here in New Jersey and elsewhere in the United States, as well as in the United Kingdom, Israel, and even in Iran.
Prosecutors say the men would demand money after locking companies out of their own servers. They demanded $50,000 from an accounting firm in Morris County. New Jersey lost $207 million in online scams in 2021, coming in as the number 6th most scammed state. That's according to a study by Social Catfish. Now, the average victim lost more than $15,000 last year. Home foreclosures have hit near pre-COVID levels, with New Jersey coming in the 4th highest in August. That's according to the latest report from Atom Data Solutions. Meantime, efforts to lessen the property tax burden in our state kicks off this week. Application information for the Anchor Property Tax Relief Program will be sent out in the mail, and homeowners and renters have until December 30th to submit their applications. Well, we're starting to feel some cooler temperatures. It's a sign that we'll all have the heat on soon, but millions of New Jerseyans will need to pay more to heat their homes as the State Board of Public Utilities unanimously approved rate hikes up to 25%. An investigation underway after a racial slur was scrawled on the dorm room door of a black student at Rowan University in Glassboro. University officials say those responsible will face legal and disciplinary action. Governor Murphy looking to fill 3 empty seats on the New Jersey Supreme Court. He nominated Judge Douglas Fasciali, who serves on the State Superior Court Appellate Division, as the newest Associate Justice on the New Jersey Supreme Court.
His ascension to our state's highest court will send a strong message to all New Jerseyans, and I hope to leaders throughout our nation, of the importance of judicial independence and impartiality.
Well, Chief Justice Stuart Rabner recently appointed Fasciali to temporarily fill a seat on the Supreme Court. If confirmed, he would be the state's 42nd justice. Well, a coalition of New Jersey unions has reached an agreement with the state to lower public workers' health care costs. Union members led to a large protest outside the New Jersey State House on Tuesday. Those costs will now only increase by 3%. They were expected to increase 12 to 24%. Well, state lawmakers still reacting to the news that Rutgers football spent close to $450,000 on DoorDash orders. Now, one of them was State Senator Declan O'Scanlan, who called for an investigation into the program's spending policies in a recent interview with our own Laura Jones. Joining us now to give us some more insight on this story is Laura Jones, host of New Jersey Politics, right here on New Jersey. Laura, thanks so much for coming on. Let's start off with your recent interview with Senator O'Scanlan. That was an interesting one. He had a lot to say about this topic.
Yeah, he really did. And, you know, to put it in perspective, student athletes, Rutgers football department racked up $450,000 worth of DoorDash bills. And the date is from May 2021 to June of 2022. Now, it started out as athletes who needed to be that weren't able to return to campus because of COVID lockdowns were allotted $75 a week. And in total, Rutgers has said there were 19,745 orders made, and they averaged about $22 a pop, $22.88, right? That doesn't sound outrageous, but in looking through the records a little bit more closely, which is what the Bergen Record did, paper in New Jersey, they saw that there were some really very large bills, and the state taxpayers are footing the bill for this. These are many athletes that are there on scholarship. Senator Declan O'Scanlan doesn't have a problem with the students using DoorDash. He has a problem with accountability. Where was somebody at Rutgers, a state institution, to say, okay, hey, we need to pull in the reins here, because the athletic department is running a $73 million deficit from last year, and they've been under the spotlight from other media for fiscal mismanagement. So now to add, almost $500,000 in DoorDash, almost a year after the pandemic start is certainly raising a lot of eyebrows.
Yeah, I want to hear a little bit from him too. I mean, you asked a lot of important questions to him. Let's listen to the clip here of your interview.
When they started the program, there should have been guidelines that were made clear to the students. Look, and we don't know if there were. And Rutgers certainly didn't put out guidelines that they had issued. So for me, that screams that maybe they didn't put out any, which is outrageous. Who should have been watching this? Whose responsibility was? Who created the program? Whoever that is should be fired, number one. And it should never happen again.
Yeah, he's calling on that accountability, as you mentioned, Laura. So what was Rutgers' response to all of this?
Well, so what Rutgers has said is, yes, we had approval that we were able to let our students order through DoorDash. Now, since then, they are now using Grubhub because they said that is less. They said that for the students who spent money outside of food and an excessive amount, that has been taken up by the NCAA because, you know, student athletes, they can't, you're constrained as to what you can accept. So that was already addressed. And that really is about all the school is saying, other than, hey, listen, you know, COVID, we had to make sure that our student athletes were being fed, especially those who couldn't make it back to campus. Because remember, this wasn't right at the beginning of lockdown. I had to reread the story a couple of times because I was like, oh, okay, well, nobody knew what they were doing. And then I saw, wait, this is May of 2021 to June of 2022. That's just this year. So by the time we were well into a year of pandemic and lockdown. And, you know, again, nobody's upset really at the students because they needed food and this is the option that they're given. And some of the social media feedback was quite amusing though.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, people definitely have an opinion on this story for sure. What action is O'Scanlan calling for in the wake of this report? What exactly does he want to have done here?
Yeah, he wants to have some type of a hearing into this to bring whoever is at fault accountable for it. Because again, the state legislature gave the Rutgers athletic department a large sum of money, millions of dollars, to help build an indoor training facility. And again, nobody is upset. Well, I'm sure there are people upset about money going to athletics as opposed to academics. But generally speaking, that was a legitimate cost that was incurred. However, they aren't producing. They're not winning football games.
Right.
They've won 10 games of the past 3 years. So if the state is going to be putting taxpayer money into a program, one, they want to make sure that they're getting their money's worth of where it's going. And who is looking over? Who is the person who's saying, okay, yeah, looking through the ledger and saying, okay, yeah, that expense is okay, that expense is okay. I mean, you and I know if we go and we overspend at work, somebody's going to kick back that expense report and say, really, you need to spend $50 on lunch. So, and that's what's happened. People were spending, $150 on dinner, and that's outrageous.
Yeah, and that sort of fits into the issue, fits into the larger context of sort of how the state is spending money, right? But then it also brings up, sort of a disparity, right? You have this football team that's getting this extra spending money. What about the rest of the majority of the school kids who are going to Rutgers and not getting this allowance every week? Like, what happened to them?
Right. Well, looking at the statement that Rutgers issued, they said there were others who were able to participate in this, although there's really not a lot of detail. I think this was mainly for the student athletes who were able to use the DoorDash. I mean, if every student would have been allowed to do a DoorDash, I can't imagine what that cost would have been.
Wow.
I think it was specific for the athletic department, although there are many students who are there on scholarship. And as we saw in our public schools, at K through 12 schools, sometimes the only place students eat are at school. So nobody's faulting to ensure that students' nutritional needs are being met. What they're questioning is who is paying attention. Where's the adult to say, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yep.
One thing to spend $20, another thing to spend $150. It's another thing to be buying things that aren't even related to food. There were costs to or charges to Bed Bath Beyond and some other stores as well that weren't food. Even I think there was even something to PetSmart.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are there other lawmakers joining O'Scanlan in this investigation as well?
A couple of Republicans are asking about this, and but the legislature is controlled by Democrats, so I don't know that this is likely to be able to get the attention to hold a hearing. I don't even know they necessarily want to hold a hearing, but they do want somebody to look at this and to hold them accountable, because this is taxpayer dollars. There's so many other issues going on in Trenton, though. I don't know that Democrats are going to say, all right, well, let's go ahead and take a closer look at it. But the Republicans certainly are. And Declan O'Scanlan is really one of the more vocal ones at this time to
For
say,
sure.
oh, I'm not going quiet about this, because, he had other concerns related to the pandemic that were bothering him as well.
So there's a lot on the plate, too, and this is just a small part of that for sure.
Exactly. Well, because, again, schools had to, and everybody in the beginning of the pandemic, you had lockdowns, you had mask mandates, a lot of mask mandates. A lot of Republicans are very concerned that state school is requiring students to get a COVID vaccine to be able to attend, that they had to, during the height of the pandemic, to not even have anybody in the stands, and then there was limited seating. So that affects the school's ability to be able to make money as well. So Republicans are saying, hey, if the state is going to come in and they're going to make all of these mandates, all of these rules that you have to adhere to, okay, then we want to be able to see, how is the money being spent, and if an error has been made, or students are taking advantage of the program, which that's what it looks like has happened, then somebody needs to be held accountable. I don't think there's any criminal mischief going on here. I think some students probably went and like, oh, let's such and such steakhouse. I'm going to spend $150 there.
Exactly. Instead of the pizza, we're going to go for the steak. Yeah. Laura Jones, thank you for being on with us this morning. We do appreciate it, and it's going to be interesting to see what comes of that investigation. NJ Politics can be found right here on New Jersey. Well, up next on NJ News Now, the unintended issue with New Jersey's plastic bag ban. And for more New Jersey news, talk, sports, and entertainment, visit our channel on New Jersey at onnj.com and follow us on social at On New Jersey.
Right now, families all across New Jersey are struggling with hunger, and their financial futures remain uncertain. You can be the hope for our hungry neighbors in need in a time when that need is still so great. The Community Food Bank of New Jersey, the state's largest anti-hunger, anti-poverty organization, is filling the emptiness caused by hunger with food, help, and hope. Go to cfbnj.org now to join us.
The New Jersey Hall of Fame is coming to you, celebrating our best and brightest, greeting guests along our Garden State Parkway through its 9 service areas, engaging travelers from our terminals to our transit centers, inspiring new generations as we move from town to town, and at New Jersey's hottest red carpet ceremony, inspiring New Jerseyans at our new home at American Dream. It's the New Jersey Hall of Fame, and it's where you want to be, because everyone needs a hero.
Welcome back to NJ News Now. Police in Franklin Township searching for a pickup driver who struck a horseback rider, killing the animal and sending the young girl to the hospital Tuesday night. Edgar Galarza, 21 years old, and his 14-year-old sister Tatiana were wrapping up their horseback ride on rural Monroeville Road just before dusk. When they stopped to rest, Edgar said that a light-colored Ford pickup truck slammed into Tatiana and her horse Predator. 2 new path cars delivered to Port Newark this week. It's the first installment in the planned expansion of its fleet by more than 20% by the end of 2023. BetMGM signed a $3 million deal to sponsor NJ Transit's MetLife Stadium rail line, becoming the only corporate sponsor of a rail line in the nation. New Jersey's plastic bag ban went into effect earlier this year, as we know, and many New Jerseyans say they now have a stockpile of reusable bags. And one of the issues, Home Supermarket Delivery says that they can't use plastic or paper bags, leaving many people with dozens of those reusable bags. Well, one of the sponsors of an original bill, State Senator Bob Smith, says that they are working on some solutions. Well, Lou LaSalle has been the president of the Essex County Parks Foundation for the last 27 years, and now he's receiving some very special recognition. A new exhibit at the Turtleback Zoo featuring Asian animals like the red pandas and Vietnamese pond turtles will be named in his honor. Joining us now is Lou LaSalle. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Kristina.
Congratulations. This is such an amazing honor. What has been the process of putting this exhibit together been like for you?
Many years ago, I was introduced to a new, tall, dark, and handsome guy coming to our committee at the Essex County Parks and Recreation. And it was Joe DiVincenzo. He was great on the committee, became a freeholder, now commissioner, freeholder president, ultimately the Essex County executive. And all his career, he's been in the community and certainly helping. But the zoo has been special. The previous county commissioner, actually county executive, wanted to close the zoo. We were losing money. And apparently something happened. He left office. Joe D took over. The rest is history. Joe DiVincenzo has been a leader and a supporter of bringing the community into this cluster, the Essex County South Mountain Arena complex. And the big star there is the Turtleback Zoo.
Yeah, it's
So
such a
we're
special
doing
place.
Exciting things. And if you get a chance, come up to see it. You
Yeah.
were right. I wrote them down because I don't remember them that well. But the red panda, the clouded leopard, the slow lories, the knob horned bills, and the Vietnamese pond turtle. I don't even know who they are, but the docents love them. They're exotic animals, and they're being treated so beautifully. Please come up, get a chance to come to the zoo. And by the way, don't miss the giraffe exhibit. It's a 2-story exhibit, and you can feed the animals, feed the giraffes from that balcony.
We've been there a couple of times with my family. My sons have fed the lettuce to the giraffes. It's just an unbelievable place. It is truly magical. And you mentioned the new exhibit. What was your initial reaction when you found out that this exhibit is going to be named after you? You better learn those animals.
I will learn by going out there and listening to the docents. They are such incredible volunteers, and we're lucky to have them in Essex County, a stone's throw away, and literally in West Orange. But it's a place to go. It's a refuge. It's an oasis, I call it. Thanks to Joe D, the Board of Commissioners. Pat Siebold has been a very, very helpful person on the commission from the beginning. Shout out to everyone. A, go there, visit. B, make donations. Joe loves to hear that. And I want to say thank you to my colleagues at RWJ Barnabas, Barry Ostrowski, Rondell Morrow, for allowing me to use my community influence, pardon me, to work toward the things that we wanted to achieve through Joe D.
Yeah. I mean, during your time with the Parks Foundation, what's been your role in helping to build up the Turtleback Zoo?
The idea is to try to get dollars. People like Prudential, or PSE&G, many of the leaders in Newark have helped fund, and I'm the president of the Essex County Parks Foundation, so the dollars come through us. We get dollars from the from the open spaces and other state organizations. They come to the foundation. The foundation funds the things for the zoo and for other South Mountain endeavors. But it's exciting to see the plans, and I guess maybe long-term plans. Joe D has managed to put together these plans, and it's always, yes, under budget and on time.
When you reflect on your own work with the Parks Foundation, what stands out the most to you?
It's amazing to see the people that will give if asked to give. I've been denied by the best, so I don't worry about it. I continue to ask. And as we do this and send out brochures and ask for donations, but more than anything, get to the zoo. That entire complex is incredible. McLuhan's, the miniature golf, all those things are accessible. I would love to see this endeavor and endorsed by the state of New Jersey totally. It's a great place, and it's going back into the mountain, and we have plenty of room there to do other exhibits. Lions, tigers, chimpanzees, bison, you name them, we've got them. Please, and continue up there. If they give you any trouble, call me. I'll get you in.
We'll call you up right now. How can people find out more information? Where can they go?
The information should go to the county executive's office. There are other numbers, but I'll let them direct it.
Okay.
County Executive Joseph DiVincenzo, 621-4400.
I love it. Visit the Turtleback Zoo. It's a special place. Louis LaSalle, thank you so much for joining us today, and congratulations on the exhibit.
Thank you again. I'm thrilled, as the word goes. Thank you.
Very exciting. Well, Patterson officials announced the Jackals are headed to Patterson. It's pro baseball's official return to Hinchliffe Stadium. The team left Yogi Berra Stadium after 25 years. Big news there. Well, East Orange native and Grammy Award-winning artist Wyclef Jean, known from the Fugees, visited the Sonia Sotomayor School Number 21 in Passaic to help celebrate Arts and Education Week. How awesome is this? Students got a chance to ask him questions, and he also donated a guitar to the school. Speaking of music, MTV celebrated 13 years of the original Jersey Shore show with a special called Jer's Story, and it highlighted how the reality show literally changed TV forever. An iconic Jersey Shore bakery that has been around for close to 100 years has announced that it will be closing this month. The owners of Ward's Pastry in Ocean City set to close because of the rising cost of goods. Well, 2 iconic New Jersey pizzerias have been named among the top 5 pizzerias in the United States by an Italian website called 50 Top Pizza. Una Pizza Napoletana in Atlantic Highlands and Raza Pizza in Jersey City both made the top 5 on the list. Thank you so much for watching. You can check New Jersey news anytime. Just head over to OnNJ.com. I'm Kristina Behr. See you next time.